Good morning and happy hump day, everyone. So this would normally be the part where I would talk about my low, my high, my act of kindness, and I would go on with whatever it was I was going to be talking about. This is the first time in quite a while where the thing I have to talk about today is my low, my high, my act of kindness. Because if you recall yesterday, I said that we had 10 days left before I go back up to Keuka Lake. Now it would be 9 days. Today would be 9 days. And you would think after, this whole year, like trying to save 2022, making 2023 as good of a year as it's been, getting over heartbreak, going out and doing things on my own, having fun, like all of that. You think 10 days really wouldn't be a problem. Now it would be 9 days. Believe it or not, the next 10 days were supposed to be very, very, very eventful in some way, shape, or form. And yesterday, I thought would be the only day I would have any kind of legitimate reprieve from it, from any of the stress that's about to be incoming. And there was still some stuff that had to go on. Well, buckle up because this is a bit of a stressful one for me. Well, you'll know why it's stressful in a minute. So, as many of you guys know, on Mother's Day, my mom was working. So, we really couldn't go out and do anything as a family. We couldn't go out to brunch or do any of that stuff. My mom would eventually come home from work a little bit before 8. And we did have a little dinner and conversation. My grandmother who was visiting, my father, myself, and her, which was great. But, my mom really wanted to go out, and she wanted my grandmother on my father's side. Yeah, the woman who's my grandmother who's visiting, I may have already talked about this before, but she was my grandma on my mom's side when I was born, but she had already remarried. My grandfather had already remarried. And then they eventually got divorced. So, in a very complicated way, you could describe her as my ex-step-grandma. Although, that being said, we still love her and we still keep in touch, and that's why she's visiting. Anyway. So, the plan was, that at some point this week, we definitely want to go out to celebrate Mother's Day posthumously. And because Mother's Day really is a special holiday, and because only the best really will do, my mom wants us all to go to Libs. Yes, Libs. The Libs. The place I've talked about many times over. The place I have described as the best in my area, hands down. The place I've tried. The place in which, that sets the stamp for what I think the very best in my area is. The best place, technically by default, because Moretti's and Tony R's are closed. I could go on and on. But yes, my family wants to go to Libs to celebrate Mother's Day. With gusto. Now, believe it or not, I have been trying, and here's the thing, I love going to Libs. I do. How many times doing these videos have I talked in length about how great Libs is? If I could go every day, of course I would. But I know, there's a few reasons why we don't go. Libs is in Elmira, and that's far away, especially for my grandmother who lives in Corning. It's not exactly a cheap place for dinner. And, really, as long as there's like a special occasion on the horizon, you know, you always have libs as an option. So it's not like you're, you know, hard pressed to find any opportunities to go, provided that you actually want to go, of course. But the one thing I've been meaning to do since my birthday, because if you remember on my birthday, I actually ran into an old friend of mine who actually works there. She didn't work there that night, but she does work there. She told me that if I make a reservation and ask if my friend is working, my friend would therefore would wait on my family and I. So that's why any opportunity that we have to go to Libs or make a reservation for Libs, I personally have been volunteering to try and make the reservation and get that done. Hence my act of kindness. So, what wound up happening? What wound up happening, you ask? Well, I knew that on Tuesdays, Libs doesn't open up until around 4. And by the way, this is probably going to come across that, for the record, like, Libs, they did nothing wrong, okay? Like, Libs could never do anything wrong. I want to establish that. I love Libs, okay? I'm the biggest I might actually be the biggest Libs apologist in this whole area. Maybe. I don't know. I have a few friends who could probably argue with that. Anyway, so I knew that on Tuesdays, Libs doesn't open until 4. And I figure, I can't really call it earlier than that because even though it is possible someone's there, they're probably really busy with, kitchen prep work and stuff. All restaurants do that. They always have people show up early to prepare food for, the dinner rush that's about to come. So at around 4 o'clock, I immediately got started, trying to call and make a reservation. From 4 o'clock to around 6:30, actually before 6:30, keep in mind, what I'm about to say, I did on and off. I tried making the reservation. And whenever I called, one of two things would always be happening. I would either get the user's busy call, or it would do that thing where it sounds like the phone is ringing and it rings a lot, and then you hear a beep, and then nothing, and then it just hangs up. So maybe the phones are down, maybe it actually is closed, and what it says on both Google and the actual Libs website itself, happens to be wrong for today. I don't know. So at around 6 o'clock, I tried calling my mom saying, listen, I'm not really doing so much as, no one's picking up. I don't know what the problem is. And my mom suggested that why don't I go to Libs in person and make the reservation there? Because I always visit I visit my family every night, and I was at my folks' place anyway. So it's not so technically I'd already be on my way home. So I take my mom's advice, and keep in mind, my mom is watching my nephews, as well as my grandma, who's also with my nephews as well. And my father always works out when he gets home from work. She got home around 6. So, considering all of that, if there was any time for me to go to Libs in person to make a reservation, it would have been right then and there, which I did. The entire time I'm driving there, I'm thinking, wait, what if I get there and because the person who's at the front door who seats everybody, what if I get there, I try and make the reservation for Friday at around 6, because that's what we want to do. Personally, I'd rather do 6:15 because I want to go to the first Alive After 5 of the year for a little bit. But, I'll obviously try for 6. What if I go there in person and it turns out all the reservations for Friday night are full? I'm actually kind of panicking a little bit. I go right there, just right to Libs. only to find out that no one's there. The lights are all off, and nobody's home. So it's a restaurant, so no one's home, but you get the idea. So I don't personally know what to think about that. And that's why my low is the fact that, here's the thing, this is both my low and my high as well. You know what? This is exactly like Saturday. This past Saturday, when I went to the Homestead Blessings event, thinking that this one girl I wanted to ask out was going to be there, and she wasn't there. And I said that, I made the most of the situation, and at the very end of the day, I didn't get an opportunity to ask her out, but I didn't get rejected either. This is quite literally the same idea. No, I wasn't successful in making the reservation, but I also technically didn't fail the objective either. So, again, it does kind of put me a little bit at mixed emotions. And literally the situation is eerily similar to the fact, when it came to asking that girl out, I, had everything I thought I needed to prepare for it. Nice outfit, perfect accessory to go with it, everything, right? And when it comes to making the reservation at Libs, I knew exactly what I was going to say. I knew exactly what I was going to ask. I knew exactly all the details I was going to say, everything. And obviously that wound up not happening because no one was there, and therefore I couldn't make the reservation. So, I guess I hate using this terminology, but I guess this provides an opportunity to be flexible in the sense that technically nothing went your way, but there is an opportunity to make the most of it. I have my own problems with the term flexibility. Not with the term itself, but what it usually means, especially for a certain group of people that I used to be affiliated with. So, there you go. I can't really say I feel bad. And again, I can't feel bad. I can't. Because I didn't fail at what I wanted to do. I didn't succeed either, though. So it's hard to gauge. This is really hard to gauge. Especially when you stop to consider the fact, I really should be relieved that nothing technically went wrong. But I'm also stressed because obviously I'm going to try doing this again. I have to. Because my family wants to go to Libs on Friday night to celebrate Mother's Day, and by golly, I'm going to get that reservation. Now it's put on added stress because I lost a day, which provided an opportunity to make any reservation at all. So now I have today and tomorrow to call and make the reservation, and I absolutely cannot fail today. Because what if today Libs actually is open? I have to make the reservation, otherwise, I'm at a loss here. Sorry, I was trying to hold back a yawn, if you couldn't tell. And it really worries me because this isn't the first time I tried making a reservation for Libs and it wound up not working. Literally the same scenario where I call and I call and I call, it's either busy, no one's picking up, none of that, right? Only last time someone actually did pick up the phone, I did try and make the reservation and everything was already full. In my defense, we weren't originally supposed to go to Libs at all because it was going to be for my father's birthday, but my father wanted to watch my nephews. But at the last minute, the plans changed, and so now he wants to go to Libs. Basically, I was completely put in a box here. I couldn't call and make the reservation, that close to a Saturday night. Literally on Saturday, I tried making that reservation. I stood nary a chance. There was no way it was going to happen. Here, I actually have a bit of an opportunity to kind of redeem that moment. And it's really looking kind of grim. Partly for the sole purpose that, again, just like yesterday, I have no idea what's going to happen. And keep in mind, I said yesterday, like, that was supposed to be the only day of reprieve I would have for these 10 days. Now we're on 9 days. So this is, I said it was going to be like a roller coaster ride of emotions, and that was only one day. I still have to get into the fact that tonight we have an episode of the season 9 finale of The Masked Singer is tonight. And I really have no idea who's going to win. I mean, I know who I want to win. I have to prepare for this upcoming weekend when I'm going to Connecticut College to see my cousin graduate, in which I'm going to be in a car for over 5 hours, going one way too. So, for a day that was supposed to be my only day of reprieve, I don't feel reprieved. Oh, Lord, help me. Well, I did post this the other day on my social media, but God doesn't make the toughest soldiers from the hardest battles. It's the hardest battles that make the toughest soldiers. I think that's how it goes. I don't know. But regardless. I mean, I guess if I had to say one good thing about yesterday, and keep in mind, again, I don't think yesterday was bad, not at all. Just a lot more stressful than it probably should have been. It's the fact that as long as I had time to kill before I met my family at Chili's for dinner, I went to get myself some Ritas. And I got to see my family too, so that's nice. Listen, I was not going to end this video without saying anything that sounded positive. So I hope you all liked this video. If you did, like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on social media. As always, I am very humble in this video for all of you guys who are watching Joe for today, and we'll be a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. And remember, if you guys want to talk to me, we'll be here to lend you. I'll see you back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.